All right.
A Facebook. Found that last night. On Facebook, yeah.
Like if that's true, I swear to God, if I ever saw her, I would look at her and say, I cursed the day you were born.
No. So, Frisbee as well.
Michael has some ambition. Some good goals.
And the winning ticket is
Not mine.
7, 8, 2. Everybody got that right? 9, 2, 6, 8.
Nope.
9, 2, 6, 8. And the winner is. Yes, thank you very much. We have one more surprise for you. And Barry has that for you.
Okay, so we have one more thing to do. I want everybody to take out your programs and take a look at your programs.
See if you
Tell me if you have a letter there. It's either the letter T, the letter M, or the letter N. If you have the letter T, you have the letter N.
Where?
You have a letter.
Open up your program.
Anybody else have a letter?
Open up your program.
Where would it find your letter?
Oh,
M for Michael. M for Michael.
N. What letter do you have?
M for
Okay.
Michael.
So now we have gifts for you. Lady, what's your name?
It's your lucky day.
What's your name?
No, it's Frisbee.
Susanna. Susanna has a T. What do you think we're going to give you with a T?
What do you think with any of the letters?
Exactly right. English tea. English tea. This is imported from England. It's a top-selling tea in England. Takes place in England. What letter do you have?
N.
I'm saving you. You have M? M. And what is it that Reggie keeps looking for and they give to Reggie?
Marmalade.
They want to give to Reggie's marmalade, so
Oh my
I
God,
got
Uncle
Reggie's
Nathan.
marmalade.
Oh my God. Have fun with that.
N.
It's not
N.
even orange.
Who's the character whose name begins with N? It's Nobby. You remember
Nobby, oh, sweaty Nobby.
I'm
not taking him home.
I knew you weren't going to take Nobby home, so I got something else for you. Nobby has a sidelight, something else he does. And what Nobby does is he makes cookies, and he calls them hobnobs. And this is also from England, hobnobs.
I think that's the first time I've
Nobby's
heard of
cookies right there. You don't get Nobby's chest, but you get his cookies instead.
when Uncle Nathan curse.
And now, fall back.
And if you've turned your phones on, if you'll look at your messages, please turn them off now. Okay? Thank you.
And now we begin Act 2 of Quartet.
Yay!
What was that? Sounded like Sissy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't concentrating. What sounded like Sissy?
Whoever screamed. Contralto. I watched her swim this morning. She was perfectly robust. But if that's Sissy's voice, she's going to need a lot of work. I've had an idea for the trio.
Oh, yes?
Yes, I think we should do the scene from the barber. After the storm with the ladder, you must know Almaviva. Sissy knows Rosina, and I've done Figaro countless times.
I have a feeling Jean will relent.
Reggie, where have you been? Jean said no, and when Jean says no, she means no. God, you should know better than anyone. You were married to her, for God's sake. So, if you think she's going to do Gilda, that would be like me saying I'm going to give the matron one before sunrise. Not on, old son, not on.
She's a star. Stars always find it difficult, if not impossible, to deal with that which is unpleasant. I have been working on an argument that I believe may yet help her to confront her present reality. I believe I can make her change her mind.
No.
Sissy.
No. It's so very hard, always trying to see the good in people.
Well, what happened?
She threw something at me.
Who did?
Jean, of course. Dr. Coggin's giving me a pill to calm me down.
Dr. Coggin would.
Sissy, tell us all about it. Andante espressivo.
Well, yesterday, no, was it today or was it the day before?
I think it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Go on, Sissy.
Well, I knocked on her door. No reply, but I could hear her crying.
Crying again.
Yes.
It really is in a bad way.
No. So I tried the door and I'm so dizzy. I need to sit down. Oh,
Why did you scream?
well, because this morning, I decided to try again.
Try what again?
To see Jean. I don't like it when she's upset. I don't like it when anyone's upset. Last night at dinner, Anne Langley reported something very odd.
That she lost weight?
No. She had gone to the kitchen yesterday.
I wonder why.
And she looked out the window and she saw Jean getting into a taxi with Mr. From
Dunworth from the village.
Right.
Smells of naphthalene.
Mr. Dunsworth, yes. And not more than 20 minutes later, Jean returned, clutching a gift-wrapped package. So I thought, well, obviously she's feeling better, so I'll try again this morning. So just a few minutes ago, I went up to her room, and I knocked on the door, no reply, but this time the door wasn't locked. So I opened it up and I put my head around and I said, Jean, it's Sissy. And she looked at me so cross and so cold, and then something came by my head. She threw something at me, and I think it was a saucer, and it shattered, and I screamed, and Dr. Coggin was upstairs, and she gave me something to calm me down. I think it's working. Oh, I don't like everything to be poisoned. I don't like Jean to be upset. I mean, after all, we really don't have that much time left.
I wonder what's got her so upset.
Well, it's not very pleasant having something thrown at one.
Not Sissy. I know what's upsetting Sissy. I'm talking about Jean. Surely it's not us mentioning that we'd like to sing the quartet.
He's asleep.
Yes.
It's the pill.
Isn't she lovely when she's She has that little smile on her face. Oh God, I'd love to wake up to that smile in the morning. Sissy, did I ever tell you I'd like to die making love to you? Oh God.
What?
I hope it wasn't shoplifting.
I'm not following you.
The package. I hope G didn't pinch it.
Well, she's got problems economically. I don't think she's that desperate.
I'm not talking about the money.
What then?
Well, we all know what begins with shoplifting.
I do.
That's right, you don't. The whole Laura Armstrong affair occurred just before you arrived.
Who was Laura Armstrong?
Cellist. thighs like a rugby player. Always felt a mad urge to attack her. And I was in the drive, and the police car came up, and Laura was in the back. I overheard the policeman say that she nicked a leather belt and a pair of black undies. When I heard that, I said to myself, "Hello! Hello!" But they caught her off soon afterwards.
To prison, you mean?
Not to prison, to Karachi.
What are you talking about?
She deteriorated rapidly.
Oh. And it all started with shoplifting, did it? And you think Jean's headed the same way?
Just a thought.
I've come to apologize to Sissy.
She's asleep.
Well, I've also come to apologize to you and Wilfred for my behavior yesterday.
I don't remember you throwing anything at us.
Please don't make fun of me. And I brought you a gift, Reggie. Well, open it.
It's marmalade. Just went up.
I also need to explain something.
Changed your mind about the birthday gala?
No,
See, I told you.
but I need to explain why I'm so opposed to it. Not for you. You must do what you think is best. But for myself, I've had time to think about it.
It's such a shame. Oh, Cedric said that we could use the Colorado costumes. He said somebody donated to him, and I don't remember their name, but 1961 sticks in my brain. Oh, they even have a hump for you, Wilf. Oh, I do wish Jean would change her mind.
Well, I won't.
Oh, was it that awful Jean in Krishnapur?
And it's lime marmalade, my favorite. You remembered. You've touched me deeply. Such an original present.
I want to apologize, Sissy, for my behavior yesterday, for losing my temper. I haven't cried. I've cried more in 2 days than I haven't all my life.
You can stop now. We've decided to do the trio from the barber.
Try to understand this from my point of view. I hope I can remember all the things I want to say. I was somebody once.
We were all somebody once.
I thought I was somebody now.
But I shone brightest in the firmament.
Yes, you were a great star. Yes, we know.
Yes, I was, and don't disparage me. It's not easy to be me now.
Was it ever? I'm sorry. Don't go, Jean. I won't be facetious again. I promise, sir. It's my turn now to try to make something clear to you. And I, too, have thought a lot about it. Now, you've come here because, and I think I quote you accurately, because you said you had an alternative. We're not a madhouse, Jean. No worse than anywhere else. We're a community of people from the same profession and with similar experience. And we happen to be highly individual, often eccentric.
Eccentric? How do you think those things are?
And all of us, without exception, are old. Now, I've always believed that whatever community you happen to find yourself in, it's best to live by its rules and customs.
Reg is right. Muck in. The only other choice you have is to be the guest of honor at the crematorium.
I love it here. I've no complaints apart from the whispering. Oh, but I feel we're very lucky to be here. I do feel lucky, I do.
Well, I don't. I had hoped that my last days would be quite different.
Well, they're not. That's just the way it is. So it's just best to accept it.
And best to accept that one of the traditions of this place is that we celebrate the birth of Giuseppe Verdi on the 10th of October.
Oh, it's grotesque and obscene.
Don't be so aggressive! My God, you never change, you never think, you never draw breath, you just bulldoze over other people's
Yes,
stories
and I don't intend to change. Why should I?
No reason, except you'll feel better, that's all.
I expect she's missing sunnier climates.
It's my opinion that performing again, albeit once a year, to an audience of our fellow residents, members of staff, the odd visitor, is a way of reaffirming our existence.
Oh, nonsense.
It's not nonsense! We, all of us in this house, were born with a musical gift. Ours was the singular ability to raise our voices in song. Now, many years on, old age has thrown us together when our voices are no more than fond memories. Like us. But what harm is there in pretending to recapture what we once were, however inadequately, on the birthday of one of the greatest composers for the human voice that has ever lived? The answer is, there is no harm. Not to us, not to the audience, and not to the late Giuseppe Verdi. I believe we will be invigorated, not to say electrified, to wear a costume again, to lose a sense of ourselves, to get nervous, to step into the warmth of the lights, and to remember dimly what we once were capable of, will, I believe, be healthy and worthwhile. And the sound of our voices that we now carry in our ears, however imperfect to reality, will be to us the same sounds we made all those years ago. I just know this to be true, Gene, and it will help us, and you especially, to come to terms with the present. And more importantly, to face the future.
What future?
And something else. It'll keep us occupied. We'll be grateful for that. It'll provide us with a purpose. Because in this place, I assure you, time does not just pass slowly. It hobbles along on its own Zimmer frame.
What you refuse to understand is that I am a different person today.
No, you're not. Nor are we. We've just aged, that's all. And it happens so fast we didn't have time to change. In spirit, I'm the same lovely lad I always was. Except I'm trapped in a cage made of rusty iron bars.
Well, I'm not. I am a different person now. But I revere the memory of what I once was.
Well, you'll find that bloody tiring and totally pointless, so I'd give it up if I were you.
Well, you're not me. The somebody I once was is this another human being whose body and mind I happen to inhabit. That somebody I once was shone in the firmament.
You're repeating yourself.
Oh, shut up, Reggie! And with the passage of time, her light has grown dim and is now extinguished.
Excuse me, who are we talking about now?
Jean Horton that was.
Yes, the Jean Horton that was. I revere her memory and will do nothing to tarnish what she has achieved. The very idea that I should even now attempt it, it's just unthinkable.
Let go, Jean, let go. There's no holding on to these things. Face reality for once in your life. We're alive now, and not for very much longer. So make the most of it. Make the most of these days, these hours, this moment. To hell with it, Jean Horton that once was. Live now, for God's sake. We're alive. Let's celebrate that. We're artists, and we were meant to celebrate life. What else did we do all those years? It's an obligation, Chief. Sing with us. Yes, sing with... Angelique! Angelique! Yes, sing with us. And I promise you, you will be eternally grateful. Yes, eternally. To hell with the people that we once were.
When was the last time any of you last sang? Never mind the sounds you carry in your ears. Has anyone heard you recently? Have you any conception of the sound you now make? Do you really want to be a laughing stock?
Oh, no. Do you think she's right, Reggie? Is everything poisoned? Madness? I don't want to sound like a motor car that won't start. I don't want them to laugh at me. I do want them to whisper, Sissy Robeson, Sissy Robeson, Sissy Robeson.
Do you realize I haven't sung a note in over 30 years?
Why did you retire so young?
I had no choice.
I thought that's exactly what you did have. You chose to be a wife and a mother.
Well, I had my first child late. Well, how old was I? Well, over 30. A week or two after Christopher was born, I was offered Mimi at the Met. I accepted. I hadn't performed in almost a year. Well, although I knew the role, of course, I thought I ought to put some work into it. So I asked Mona Ross to put me through my paces. She arrived, dear Mona. Oh, such a lovely voice in her day, and afterwards a wonderful teacher. She burst in full of good cheer, as usual, sat down at my Steinway, played an arpeggio or two, and then struck a chord. I drew breath. I tried to sing, but no sound came out. She struck a note again with her forefinger. She always had the most beautifully manicured nails. I remember I couldn't take my eyes off her finger as she hammered out the note again. And again. And again. My mouth was open. And although I tried as hard as I could, the only sound I could produce was a sort of choked silence. I have never known such terror in all my life. Doctors were summoned. I even saw Norman Hunt. He said there was nothing wrong with my calls. I simply couldn't sing. I even saw a psychiatrist, a Professor Bretan. He said it was probably something to do with postnatal depression, and given a month or two, all would be well. But it wasn't. Not in a month or two, not in a year or two, not after Emma was born, never again. So there's no point in trying to persuade me to sing at the birthday carol. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I can't sing. I haven't been able to sing for years and years. And that's all there is to it. My gift deserted me.
I remember Mona Ross. Oh, I always thought that Mona was such an unfortunate name for a singer.
I've often wondered what the real reason was.
Now you know.
Yes. Now I know.
Damn shame, Gene. A damned awful thing. Bloody doctors.
Well, I'm told it's not uncommon. It happens, I believe, to actors only. They call it stage fright. Anyway, what does it matter? I had a good run for my money. Well, I feel better. How extraordinary.
I suppose you wouldn't have Bobby Swanson have a go at you? We could all consult him. How about that? He's a miracle worker, that Bobby. No going for it, Reg. I'll have to do the barber again. I have to crank up my voice for that one. God, I'm sick of doing Figaro.
If it were remotely possible, I'd gladly sing for the birthdays of Giuseppe Verdi, Tommy Beecham, Ben Britton, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I would love nothing better than to be able to sing now as I did then, to hear my voice.
Are we all thinking the same thing?
Are we?
Would we get away with it?
Well, I would. It's the only way I could.
And that's what we'll do.
Yes. I'm
No key yet?
No.
Cave!
Nobby found the key.
I hope these costumes are wearable.
Wait, now where did I put it?
Oh, perhaps I should frisk you, Sissy. I'm sure I can find it.
No, I just had it a minute ago, not 2 minutes ago. Nobby placed it in my hand.
Placed what in your hand?
But it was on a long piece of string.
Really?
Perhaps it's round your neck.
Oh, there it is.
Damn, should have frisked you.
Clever, Reggie.
And you haven't told anyone what we're up to?
No, of course not. I know how to keep a secret. I've kept lots of things from lots of living souls, especially about myself.
Oh, you intrigue me, Sissy.
Oh, Bobby Swanson was buzzing around me like a wasp ready to sting. And he also helped me with one of his white sticks. Wasn't that a baton, one of those conductor batons? And he asked all sorts of things.
Such as?
Well, such as, oh, he wanted to know who was going to rehearse us. And I said, we don't need anybody to rehearse us. And he laughed sarcastically, and then he said, well, then who's going to accompany you? And I said, Reggie was, of course. And he looked at me again, and he smiled, and he said, what? Singing and with one finger? And I said, no. I said, and I don't know why I said this, really. I really don't know why I said this. But I said, well, if you really want to know the truth, we're importing a pianist. And he said, from where? And I said, New Delhi.
New Delhi? What did he say to that?
Well, he smiled and he said, I'm so looking forward to hearing the quartet from Rigoletto, accompanied on a sitar.
Got it!
Oh, good.
Oh,
God!
Oh, smells of Mr. Dunworth.
Oh, that smells wonderful. This is so lovely. It's like finding an old trunk in the attic and dressing up on a winter's afternoon.
Oh, well, who designed this costume?
Not Oliver Missel, that's for certain.
They look very faded.
Oh, I think they're lovely.
They're not lovely, they're deeply unattractive.
Well, where's my hump? You said there was a hump. Can you find it?
Well, I refuse to wear them. We'll have to do it in modern dress.
Oh, no, please, Jean, that would be awful.
Yes,
No, I
agree with
refuse.
Sissy.
I refuse to perform wearing tat. You find me someone to make me a costume. What about you, Sissy? You always looked as though you made your own clothes. Rub another costume. These are unwearable.
Good Lord, these tights have a label. Enrico Cardinale, 1952.
Oh!
Enrico never sang for the Carl Rosa.
Well, his tights are here.
Well, maybe he took them off when he was visiting. You know what he was like.
Oh, Enrico's tights. How odd.
I thought he had such lovely legs. And he always looked so manly.
That's because he was probably wearing a codpiece underneath. Most of us just use socks. I was a 3-sock man myself.
I didn't think you knew Enrico.
Yes, Glyndebourne.
Oh, that must have been after we...
You know, in a funny way, a rather funny way, I thought he was a very attractive
Oh,
man.
I never understood what women saw in him. He was as dense as 2 planks. Couldn't read a note of music. Bobby Swanson said it took 7 months to teach him God Save the Queen.
Well, he was ugly handsome, was Enrico. Many women find that irresistible. I did. Like that French actor.
Oh, what French actor?
Oh, you know. Oh, what
Oh,
is
give us a
his
clue,
name?
give us a
A
clue.
woman's name.
Oh, a French actor with a woman's
yes,
name?
well, you must remember, Reggie. I had a thing about him. He was in that film, you know, that film.
Which film?
The film about the war.
What war?
What is this, a bloody quiz? What does it matter what Enrico looked like?
Oh, Wilfred, tell me. Do you think Enrico was really gay?
I resent that question.
Oh, look! Wilf, this must be your hump.
Looks more like Enrico's codpiece.
Oh.
It's got to be built up.
Oh, Jean, this looks like it would do. I can have it altered for you.
Well, it's certainly my color.
Well, I think I found your doublet.
How am I supposed to attach this?
Oh, this is ever so lovely. Oh, I could let out the waist here. Oh, my dear.
Oh, yes, that's much nicer, much better quality. Perhaps I ought to have that.
Well, all right. You choose. I really don't mind what I wear.
Well, I'll have it then. It's much the best.
I say shoes.
Well, I'll wear my own, thank you. I can't bear the thought of wearing another person's shoes. And of course, everything will have to be dry cleaned.
Oh, that would cost a fortune.
Well, the committee has funds.
Has it?
Yes. Lawrence Thames left a small bequest.
Cheeky bugger.
No one told us.
Oh, well, he did. And I could put forward a motion at the next meeting asking for some of the funds to be used for these costumes.
Excellent, Sissy. Excellent.
Oh, you're not just a beautiful body.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to putting forward my own motion. I've never done that before.
Ladies and gentlemen, please gather around. We have much to discuss. Rehearsal schedule, method of work, when to hold the sitz-probe.
Oh, that's ridiculous, Reggie. We don't have an orchestra. How can we have a sitz
But this is fun, isn't this fun? Isn't it so much fun?
Now, we must aim for perfection, nothing less. We really have a lot of work ahead of us.
What work? We all know the opera. We all know the quartet.
My dear Wilfred, none of us has performed in more years than we can decently remember. If we're going to do this properly, we're going to have to burrow our way back into the opera.
Go easy. I'm not as young as I once was.
Now first, Sissy will have to talk to the committee about the dry cleaning.
Yes, I will. That will be fun.
After that, I suggest we each take responsibility for our own costumes. That includes your hump, Will. Secondly, we should go on as we are now, relearning our parts in our own time. Now, in the last week of August, we must start rehearsing twice a day.
Very good.
And by mid-September, we must rehearse every morning, just do the twice a day.
Very good.
Every morning? Don't you think that's overdoing it a bit?
We'll need it, believe me. What we're attempting to do is not easy. Now then, Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi. And I want you to pay close attention, because what I have to say is very important. Now, as you may remember, Verdi based the opera on a play by Victor Hugo.
Jean Gavin!
No, Victor Hugo.
No. Jean Gavin was the name of the actor.
Oh!
Remember?
Oh,
the woman's name.
Oh, yes. Jean Gavin, ugly, handsome Jean, a woman's name. Oh, same as yours.
Oh, yes, it is. I remember. Oh, isn't the mind so totally mystified?
Oh, but what's the name of the film?
What film?
I'm going to expose myself in a moment!
The film about the war.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I can see it now. The name of...
Oh, give us a clue.
Oh, to hell with
Give us a
this! Let's forget all about it. I'm not going on with this. I'm not going on with it.
Oh, no.
I'm not going on with it.
No, please, Reggie, don't be like that. We're listening. Oh, aren't we listening?
Oh, yes, of
Aren't
course.
we? Aren't we?
Yes.
Ooh.
Thank you. Now, as you may remember,
What about makeup?
I beg your pardon.
Who's going to do my makeup?
Well, you'll have to do it yourself. Now, please shut up.
Don't speak to me that way. I've never done my own makeup, and I don't intend to start now.
Then don't wear any.
What? What? Up here without makeup?
No, Jean, I'll do it for you.
Oh dear. Oh my God, this is like amateur night at the Turkish bath. Oh dear.
I'm not absolutely sure I know what that means.
Jean, I said I would do it for you gladly. I'm doing Anne Langley at the same time.
Well, you'll certainly need a lot of makeup for that face.
Gee, you're a monster. There's such many ropes in her. Not unknown in her day. Accommodating her every twist and turn in her monstrous ego, and all you can do is insult her. Can't you be gracious for just once in your life?
No, I can't. No! Don't do that!
What? What did I do?
Oh, you know exactly what you did. It was grotesque and obscene. It was sexual harassment.
Oh, rubbish. All I did was pinch a bum.
Precisely. How would you like it if I pinched your bum?
I would love it! I've never had my bum pinched. Never been ogled, never been whistled at. When I retired, I tried to get a job where I could be sexually harassed, but there was nothing going. Well, you women complain all the time. All you have to do is give us men a dose of our own medicine. We wouldn't complain. At least I wouldn't, I know that. What about you, Reg? Oh, come on, pinch my bum!
Oh,
Pinch it!
You're revolting, you always were. But you make me laugh, I don't know why.
Well, yes, I do. Because you're a giver of life, and that's a lovely thing. I would be very happy for you, Sissy, to do my makeup. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Reggie, I'll do your makeup. And Will, I'll do you too if you'd like me.
I would love it. Pinch my makeup.
Oh, you see, he's totally disgusting.
I lied. I did have my bum pinched. By Bobby Swanson. Going upstairs for my afternoon nap. I turned to him, I said, Bobby, I didn't know you cared. He said, homophobe!
Please pay attention.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Now, as you may remember, but I think it's definitely worth repeating, Rigoletto, by Giuseppe Verdi, with a libretto by Maria Piazza, was based on the play Le Roi s'amuse by Victor Hugo. Now let me remind you what Victor Hugo said when he first saw Rigoletto, and you recall he resented its success. He said, if I could have 4 characters in my plays, all speak at the same time, and yet have the audience grasp the words of their sentiments, I would obtain the very same effect. Now as for our performance, Angelique! Angelique!
Rich.
Angelique! 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 Cow! Take no notice of me! Angelique! Angelique!
Oh, no, Sissy. Mine.
Oh,
He's gone.
oh, here it is. Sorry. It was all connected to something.
It's mine.
Oh, but it's,
I'll get it.
okay. Oh, I'm hungry. I should probably buy myself some clarinet. Oh, this is the first time. begun. Oh, the boys and girls look splendid, and they're singing lustily. Oh, but Bobby Swanson is playing awfully slow. He's getting slower and slower and slower. Oh, the tenor's about ready to explode.
You kept me waiting. Do my makeup.
Oh, instant tour? Oh, I'm not nervous, you.
Of course I'm nervous. Every great artist is nervous before a performance. It's the respect she pays her audience.
But I find it very odd not having to do a warm-up.
Pretty soon I'm gonna need some help with my hump. Reg, you ready?
Won't be long.
Yeah, start to do you. Want me to do the whole face? And
I'll do my eyes. I've always done them myself.
oh, right.
Yes.
Want a drink, old son?
No, thank you.
Here's to us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to us, girls. Cheers.
Oh, God bless you. That's so nice.
You aren't going to drink before a performance, are you?
I am before this one. Actually, I always have one just before the performance, one at the intervals, and one afterwards. Helps give body to the voice.
Why he should need to give body to the voice tonight of all nights, only God knows.
Oh, listen, dear, wait, could you trade places with me? There's so much more light on this side, and I need all the light I can get.
It would only be expected that today my hip would be particularly bothersome.
Oh, you know, that is nerves. Dr. Coggin would call that psychosomatic.
Well, she can call it what she likes. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone.
I'll let Sissy do the finishing touches.
I can help you with your hump now, Will.
He told me I had to sew these tapes on, but I'm not very good at sewing, so I don't know if I attached them securely enough.
I suppose Melissa always did the sewing and the darning for you. Oh, damn.
I thought I'd not fixed it properly.
Don't worry. I have a hussive.
What the hell is that?
Housewife, hussive, needle and thread. I used to steal them from hotel rooms. You didn't have to, you see. You had Melissa.
Please, let's not talk about Melissa, all right? That's a good job.
She must have been very long-suffering, putting up with you.
Why do you say that?
Everybody knows what you're like. Well, I'm sure Melissa did too. All that philandering, like the Duke in Rigoletto.
What philandering? I was absolutely faithful for 35 years.
I find it very hard to believe. I must tell you, people thought you behaved very badly being unfaithful to Melissa.
There, I'm finished. Now you can do your eyes.
Well, let me see what you've done. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all, Sissy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go get ready now.
It would never occurred to me
What never occurred to you?
that people thought I was unfaithful to Melissa.
Well, of course they did. Just think of the way you go on, Will.
That hurts. It really does. Melissa. They misdiagnosed her, you know. If they'd caught it in time. No, there's no justice. Bloody doctors. Unfaithful to Melissa? Why, that's unthinkable. She was my harshest critic. She loved everything that I did. Truth is, Reg, I'm all talk. Big, dirty mouth me. I think about it, talk about it, and do nothing. I did sow a few wild oats before I met Melissa, but I had a scruple, you see.
And what was that?
I had to be in love with the girl before I bedded her. I wanted to be able to tell her that I loved her and that she could say that she loved me. Trouble is, Don't think I was ever really in love until I met Melissa. And then I found that fidelity suited me. But I know that's not much of a virtue in this day and age, but that's how I was, and that's how it is. And what about you, Reg? You hardly ever mention the opposite sex. Makes me think you were a bit of a Don Juan. Were you?
I had my moments.
I want to hear all about it in all the dirty detail.
Done. I must tell you, I thought Melissa was one of the most beautiful and dignified people that I've ever met.
No more blubbing, Reg. I have to keep my concentration. We all do.
Are you ready for your eyes, dear?
Oh. How are they?
Oh, perfect. You look perfect. Now, if there's anything else I can do to help you, I would love to.
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop being so helpful and so kind. I can't bear it.
A little tight under the arm.
Well, you know, it really should be sewn into the tunic.
I know that, but this is the best I could do under the circumstances.
I am not kind and I am not helpful. I'm repentant.
What do you have to be repentant about?
I've led a very dissolute life.
Oh, nonsense.
No, I have.
Well, that's better.
Let's try it on with the tunic.
Yes.
Someone once told me that I crave affection, and that's why I'm so flighty all the time.
Everyone craves affection. Everyone wants to be loved.
Well, when I was very young, my parents sent me away to England to boarding school, and they remained in India. My father was a colonel in the army, and they used to call him Clive in India. And he had a rather caustic tongue, but he died right before I came back from school, so I never saw him. And Mother thought it was best that I don't go back for the funeral, so I went to go live with my Aunt Fiona, who was not a very kind person, and she was dead set against me ever singing. So my mother wrote to me, and she said she'd be coming home, and I was so happy. And then she died before the ship sailed. So I never saw either one of them again. And I said to my Aunt Fiona, "Thank you so much for all you've done for me," and I said goodbye to her too.
Girls, how's this?
Oh, God, dreadful.
Think it's too much?
Well, just a little too much. I mean, you look a little like a camel who's gone to the wrong osteopath.
They think it's too much.
No, they're probably right. Let's see what we can do.
I'm not asking for sympathy, no, not at all. No NSP, no NSP, no. And I've led a very fortunate life, very privileged, but it's just that men were such an awful distraction for me, and they didn't treat me so kind, and I suppose I encouraged that.
You and me both, Sissy.
And in my case, I ought to tell you something. I had a one-night stand with Enrico Cardinale.
Did you, Sissy?
Yes, I did. And it was very, very, very disappointing. I mean, most men were, but I could never, ever be fulfilled, and I can't put it any more delicately than that.
Was that while I was still with him?
Yes.
And here I thought he was gay.
But he was gay. Oh, yes. But you see, he tried so very hard not to be. He was Catholic, and he made one of those horrible confessions. You know, one of those confessions you make lying side by side in the dark. He turned over and said, "This has never happened to me before." And then it all came out.
Why are all the most attractive men gay?
Because they treat one like a person and not like a garland to be worn.
Do you think Reggie was gay?
No, no.
Well, why are you so sure? You won't have had a ding-dong with him, I know that.
No, he's not my type. he's much too genteel, and his antennae are never up, and he doesn't give off a scent. I love my men manly, and alas, that's a very rare quality of man.
Do me up, will you?
But tell me, why you of all people, are you asking me about Reggie? I mean, you were married to him after all.
Yes, but not for long enough.
Well, how long, dear?
Exactly 9 hours.
9 hours!
He mustn't hear, it's too humiliating. And don't tell anyone else, please, certainly not Wilfred. It's not something of which I'm particularly proud.
9 hours?
We were married at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in May. At 8:30 we left the reception. My father had gotten us a suite at the Savoy Hotel. We were to spend the night there and then go to Rome the next morning for our honeymoon. We had a champagne supper in our suite. Oh, I remember Reggie had scrambled eggs, toast, and lime marmalade. At around 11, we got undressed. He in the bathroom, I in the bedroom, and naked I lay on the bed waiting. He returned, wearing pajamas, and lay down beside me. He switched off the light. And then I, too, had one of those awful confessions, lying side by side in the dark. Only with Reggie, it wasn't so much a case of, this has never happened before, as this always happens, and according to the doctors, always will.
Oh, poor Reggie.
Poor me.
And then you walked out?
No, first I tried to comfort him, console him.
And then you walked out. But to no avail.
But to no avail. And then I didn't walk, I ran. I took a taxi to a temperance hotel in Russell Square, slept soundly. Later, years later, and several husbands later, I realized that sex was highly overrated. And I thought it was terribly messy. I should have stayed with Reggie.
Do you think that most men are unable or uninterested?
More than we suspect.
Huh. You know, I'm surprised the human race has lasted as long as it has. I wonder what the young people would say if they could hear us talking now. I mean, when I was young, I never would have guessed that the older people had any lives of their own, especially not sex lives. And here we are talking of nothing else. Oh, it's so odd growing old. I thought all we do was talk about God and death and the life hereafter.
Well, Wilfred was right. We don't change. When I was a little girl, I was terrified at the very mention of the word death. I still am. Let's talk about sex.
Well, oh, you know what you should do? You should talk to Cedric. He'll invite you to one of his seances. He did with me, and he's got this eagle. Oh no, he's got this guy that's named Red Eagle, and I went months ago. But he asked him, is there anyone for sissy ropes? And the message came back, no, nobody has arrived. Would you do me up, dear?
Oh.
What do you think, girls? Any better?
Yes, much.
Fine.
They approve.
It's too tight, Sissy.
But
I
altered it. I did. I just try. Please try hard.
Yeah, but I am trying, but you were too hopeful.
No, I did.
I can't fasten it.
Oh no! I will. I'll take it off. I'll take it off. Oh God! Oh God! No! No! God! No! Oh God! Oh, what do I do? Oh, well. All right. I'll do this. Well. Goodbye, dear. Goodbye.
Sissy, where are you going?
Oh, I'm going home. Didn't I tell you? I'm going home, port side out.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've never gone port side out before. I've only gone starboard home. I do hope my idol remembers me. Oh, goodbye, dear. Goodbye.
Sissy, crisis!
Oh, dear. Wait, that's so awful of me. That's so awful. Oh, I'm so awful. I didn't say goodbye, did I? Goodbye, dear. Goodbye, and goodbye. Goodbye, and goodbye to you, too. Oh, goodbye. Oh, wish me bon voyage. Oh, I'm going back to see Karachi.
Lord, if they catch her in this state.
Sissy, you can't leave this room tonight. It's Bertie's birthday gala. Nobby's in the audience. I can't wait to see you. It's Rigoletto, Sissy. We're doing the quartet, Sissy.
Oh, I do wish you well. Oh, and now, oh, goodbye, goodbye. I will send you postcards from the Suez Canal. All them's ashore that's going ashore.
She's done for. We're all done for.
Sissy, pull yourself together. Take hold, Sissy dear. Please, please take hold. Sissy, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay right here with your fellow artist, your friends. Oh, Sissy, the ship doesn't sail for 2 weeks.
Doesn't it? No.
No.
It doesn't?
No.
It doesn't? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my... Oh, what time is it, dear?
Oh,
What
it's
time?
late, it's late. Get to work on your costume.
Oh, I will, I will. It's always the little things that upset me. Always the little things. Oh.
That was the close run thing.
Well done, Jean.
I've had a great deal of experience with my mother, only she used to become violent.
I was going to ask Sissy to paint on a beard and mustache.
Well, why not? Make her feel useful.
Sissy dear, I don't want to fuss you, but when you're done, do you think you could give me a hand?
Oh, in a moment, dear, in a moment.
I lied.
About what?
I was unfaithful to Melissa. Once. With a her. A whore in Amsterdam. Twice. In Hamburg. Wasn't sure. You, Reg. You ever unfaithful? Is that why Jean left you?
Prefer not to discuss those things. Don't mind, thank you very much.
I bet you were a stallion in your younger days. Bet you were. Oh, that reminds me. I need to get to my socks. Oh. Hello. Oh, Reg, I'll be blowed. Remember I told you I wrote down this thought about art for you?
No.
Yes, I did.
When?
I don't know, yesterday, last week, last year. What difference does it make? You said I had amazing insights.
And that you do.
Now listen to this. Art is meaningless if it does not make you feel.
Let me see that. Art is meaningless if it does not make you feel. That's very beautiful, Will.
Thank you.
And I believe it to be true. You see, I was right about you. You do have these great insights. And what does it matter if art is dazzling or clever or original in style? Touch you. Ernest Woman's right. Poetry is a digression. I don't want to add this to my intro.
How's that? Am I a fine figure of a man or am I not?
I must tell you, I find it very distasteful.
All right, let's try again. I left out on the side here.
Susie, hope you're almost ready. It's getting late.
In a moment. Just, all right, Mel. Well,
Just-
oh, good. Thank God. Thank God. All right, I'm ready.
Take Reggie first.
All right, I'd love to.
I want you to paint on a beard and mustache.
Okay. No. Let's see.
Can't you sit anywhere else? I'm trying to concentrate.
I wanted to have a chat with you.
About what?
Our sticks. I think we should try to do the performance tonight without them.
Well, I don't think I can. My hip is particularly painful this evening.
Well, I'm not sure I can either, but I think we should try. I think it would be more dignified, more operatic. And besides, I think it's like when you're standing in the wind, ready to make an entrance, and you're dying to take a pee, but you go out on stage and you forget all about it.
Oh, I may have to lean on you.
Better to lean on Reggie, it'd be safer. He'd be very pleased. He adores you.
Does he?
Of course. I don't think he's ever stopped loving you.
How do you know that? Has he said so?
No, but I have these amazing insights.
How ironical to contemplate a future with Reggie Paget.
I wonder what we'll all do when this performance is over.
There. Now, tell me what you think.
Excellent, Sissy. You're a true artist.
It's down over there, we'll get it later. Oh, wait. Don't worry, darling, don't worry at all. It's never too late. Just think about the Eiffel Tower. And if that fails, I know a man outside of Madras who makes the most magical potions for men. Can I help you?
Yes, you could do the usual. But you can also fix my makeup.
Well, I will, all right? Only if you sit on your hands. I know you.
I'm going to try to walk without my stick. I did without it when I was George's guest at Covent Garden. Did I tell you? I had a standing ovation.
Don't be long, you two. I think we're on next. Jean, you look beautiful.
And you look very handsome.
And soon, we'll be young again.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
How do I look?
Gobsmacked.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're not going to hear him sing. We're not going to hear him sing.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the sitar?
Do be quiet, Bobby. There's a dear. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, my 3 colleagues and I are hoping to start a new tradition in this house.
What's that? Singing tune?
We want to transport you to times past, when our voices were strong and, dare I say it, beautiful. We have come to the conclusion, after much argument and discussion, that we are unchanged, at least in spirit. And that spirit was most intensely expressed when we sang, when we did what we did best. And so, tonight, this 10th of October, the anniversary of Giuseppe Verdi, we want to remind you of what we once were capable, in which we recorded all those years ago. I hope you'll be moved, not by us, but by the glorious music. For art is nothing but...
Unless it makes you feel.
Yes, thank you. Yes, if it does not make you feel. So now it is time for me to make the introductions. I myself am, of course, the Duke of Mantua. And as Rigoletto, we are fortunate to have the popular celebrated baritone, Tito Gobi's rival, Mr. Wilfred Bond.
Look, it's Quasimodo!
Shut up, Bobby, I'll come down here and slap you.
Oh, please!
Dr. Coggin, give him one of your pills.
Homophobe!
Heterophobe!
And as Madalena, our very own, the delicious Miss Cecily Robson.
Oh, you smell very good too.
Sissy!
Oh, wait
This
just a
way.
minute, I'm busy. Hold on. Oh, you smell like honey.
And last but not least, one of the great stars in the operatic firmament, as Gilda, the incomparable Miss Jean Horton. Bobby?
Yes,
Can you hold this, please?
of course, Reginald.
Ladies and gentlemen, the quartet from Act 3, Scene 1 of Rigoletto by the great maestro Giuseppe Verdi.
Thank you. Oh.